Allow the shoulders to soften as you exhale. And perhaps feeling a sense of lengthening through the spine as you inhale. Working towards this clear inner vision today. So we'll be working a little bit with the third eye area in terms of our drishti, our gaze, and our awareness. Let's start by taking the hands by our sides. I'm going to move back just a little bit so you can see me a little better. Okay, so hands by your sides. And we'll take a little bit of side bend. So inhale the right arm up and just lean into the left hand over to the left. And we'll do this a few times. Just find a nice fluid motion. Exhale the arm down. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale over. Inhale up and exhale, release. So just keep that flowing a couple more times each side. Just find a nice flowing breath. Nice full breath. Feel the chest, the rib cage, the intercostals expanding as you inhale. And as you exhale and the navel draws back towards the spine, feeling that sense of support. Good, and on the next one, we're going to change it up a little bit. So next time you bring the right arm up, we'll inhale the right arm. As you exhale, allow the right knee to lift and just curl in with the elbow and the chest into the knee. And then we're going to extend again into the side bend. You might even open the chest a little bit. And then exhale, curl in, knee lifts. Inhale, knee releases and the arm extends. Exhale, tuck it in. Inhale, stretch out. Let's try that one more time. Exhale. And then inhale. And we'll hold it here for a little bit. Allow the knee just to be soft. You don't have to push it to the floor. But extend as much as you're able to through the side body. And then you can even bend this top arm and draw the shoulder blade in towards the spine. Open the chest. Maybe reaching towards the ceiling with the chest a little bit. Just another breath here. Good, and then exhale, release. Yeah. And we'll do the other side. Inhale, left arm up. Stretch over, and on the exhale, allow the knee to rise, and we're going to just tuck ourselves towards the knee. Just a comfortable place. It doesn't have to touch the knee, and the knee relaxes on the inhale. So we're opening and closing. And then almost feel as if you're opening like a flower blooming and closing. Sometimes there's flowers that close up at night when the sun goes down. Good. I think we have one more to do. Inhale. And then exhale. And then this time we'll keep it up. So stretch up. Good, and then bend the elbow, and maybe we get a little bit of reaching up towards the ceiling. So the shoulder blades drawing in towards each other, and we're opening the chest. Good, and then release and relax. Okay, Let's take the feet out a little further in front of us. So more like a diamond pose. So some of you might have been there already, so go ahead, and sometimes it feels good to just counter pose by releasing the legs, extension through the knees, and then we'll bring the feet up. And so you might like a little bit of, so I'm going to move on to my mat here. You might like a little bit of height under your seat before you do this, or you might prefer no, no support under the seat. So I'm going to have my foot soles together, but they're not going to be drawn close like Baddha Konasana, like butterfly. They're going to be more like a diamond shape, sort of a fairly even shaped diamond. That's it. So they're more extended forward. So if you were able to fold forward, your head would rest on your feet. Okay, so just start with the hands behind you. Inhale some length, the back of the neck nice and long. And then as you exhale, just begin to fold forward. You can take the hands forward when it feels comfortable. You might plant the hands strongly, just sort of just resting into the hands, and the back of the head is just lengthening. That might feel like the perfect place. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes, so take your time. It might feel really good for you to allow the chin to drop and stretch the back of the neck between the shoulder blades. Or you may prefer to leave the back of the neck nice and long and get some axial extension. You might place the hands on the ankles, maybe the forearms on the thighs. You might have the hands beside the feet. So just fold as far as is comfortable for you for another minute or so. And then notice the breath. And allow the awareness to, on the inhale, to reach down towards the base chakra, but on the exhale, to rise up between the brows. Deep full breaths. Noticing the breath flow in and flow out. Perhaps the gentle rise and fall of the chest as you breathe. And with the last breath, press into the hands here. We'll walk ourselves up and just pause upright, and then help your legs to come to close and lengthen them again. And then we'll do just a little bit of cat-cow just to release. So if your knees are an issue, you're going to have a blanket under your shins, and possibly not anything under the knee at all, so that the knee sort of rides above pressure. So the knee is a bit off the blanket, so there's no pressure. Some of you may prefer to have your knees on the blanket. Okay, so if you need support under the knees, please do that now. If you need support under the wrists, sometimes being up on the fingers will help. You can see my fingers or not. Sometimes a soft blanket under the fists will work. We won't be here too long though, so if you're able to be on the wrists, you can come there. So just an inhale into cow, and an exhale, tuck the tail, tuck the chin. You might even press the shins down as the spine rises, the shins press. And then inhale, back into cow. So back and forth. massaging the spine, becoming aware of how the spine moves in relation to the pelvic girdle. Inhale, opening the chest, lifting the chin just a little, and then as you exhale, tail tucks, chin tucks, belly drawing in. Good, and we'll come back to neutral. Good, and then go ahead and come into some version of child's pose. Now this may be knees apart, and it might be to the elbows. This might be your child's pose. It might be more of a hero type of pose, leaning forward on the hands. If you're able to come into child's pose, you might place your third eye between the brows on a block or the floor, and just bring your awareness to the third eye. Perhaps the palms up in receiving, or palms down if you need to feel a little more grounded. Last big exhalation here. And then press yourself up onto your hands and knees. Walk the knees so they're in line with the hips again. And we're just going to walk the hands forward. We're coming into now a Sphinx pose. Maybe I'll turn to the side so you can see this. You might have a little bit of support under you. So you can roll a blanket a little bit, but this is just optional. Sometimes it'll help to have a bolster or blanket under the lower ribs, and it sort of helps take a little of the weight off of the shoulders. So the hands are parallel, the forearms are parallel with each other, and the legs are long, feet are about hip width apart. And imagine that you're just gently pulling the mat towards you or the floor. So there's just a very gentle bit of action of the shoulders drawing back. And the back of the neck can lengthen. Or you might prefer to turn the head from side to side. Get a little bit of neck range of motion. Or you might like to allow the head to fall forward through the center and allow it to be very heavy to get the stretch between the shoulder blades and up into the cervical spine. Deep, full breaths. As you exhale, notice the navel drawing in towards the spine. Now, if having the elbows directly under the shoulders is a little too much for your spine, allow the elbows to come a little bit forward in front of the shoulders a bit. Okay. So always know you can come lower if that's more accessible for your spine today. And allow the breaths to still be fairly deep. So we're looking like maybe 60%. It's not your fullest breathing, but it's enough that there's expansion, a fair bit of expansion and release happening. So you're noticing the lengthening of the spine. For the next half a minute to a minute, if you'd like, you're welcome to come down a little more, or you can press up a little deeper. So just straightening the elbows. Perhaps you need to walk the hands a little more forward. Maybe getting a little external rotation in the upper arms, so the arms reaching, shoulders opening. And still that gentle sense of drawing the hands back towards you. Navel drawing in with every exhale to support the lower back. Two more full breaths. And then release the elbows down if you were up on them. And then we're going to slide the elbows out to the side. And go ahead and lay your forehead onto your hands. And just rest there. Allow the breath to soften. Allow the awareness to rise again to third eye. It's probably been sort of moving into the heart area. Awareness when we do back bending, heart, or even the throat sometimes. Last breath. And then push yourself up all the way to Vajrasana, hero pose. So feeling a little bit open, a little bit vitalized, a little bit from the back bending. Bring ourselves into Vajrasana just for a moment so I can show you. We're going to do low lunge and half splits here. So if you'd like to use blocks here, please have them at the ready. If you would like to do this from your back, there is that option, and I'll demonstrate that first. But we'll be doing low lunge and half splits. So those of you that want to do it prone and know how to do that, have your props or your tools at the ready. I'll just demonstrate it briefly on my back in case you want to do it here. So the low lunge could be done with the leg extended or the leg bent. And then we're drawing the other knee into our chest. You might keep it here, or you might like to work the shin bone up. And so this would be like a lunge from your back. You might hold the foot, or you might just reach behind the thigh. And again, you might be here. Okay, so this is low lunge. And then when we work into the half splits, it's just straightening that leg. So then you're stretching the hamstring, okay? So that's the reclining version of that. Prone version, facing the floor, right? So we're going to be on our feet and knees. So take either one. So you can do the reclining versions, or you can do prone version. So prone version, here is our lunge, okay? So stepping the right foot forward. And from here, we're gonna hang out for a little bit, and then we'll be moving to here. So this is why the blocks may come in handy. You might like the blocks or not. Okay, so just blocks or a stool will work. Okay, so we're gonna start, if you're prone, go ahead and just rest your hands on your knee to start with. If you're reclining, just go ahead and try to use, not overstrain in this as much as you're able to. So it's fine if the knee is bent in your reclining version, like the knee tucked in, foot towards to make it a little bit less straining. If you're able to, if you're holding the leg reclining with one hand, I want you to take the other hand over your head as to the range of motion. The rest of you can take both of your arms overhead if you're in prone version. Just reaching up. And then we're going to take the hands down. So those of you in reclining can leave the hand down, and the rest of us will take our hands behind us. If you're in reclining, external rotation, turn the palm up to face the ceiling. And those of you in prone are going to Rotate the arms. Maybe you can clasp the hands, maybe not. We're externally rotating, so the arm is rotating open. Okay. You might clasp the hands or not. So another couple breaths here. And then release the arms, and then we'll take the arms into cactus. So the arm or arms, depending on where you're at in this. So cactus, and then imagine you're doing like a lat pull down. If any of you have done weights, imagine you're gripping a bar and you're pulling them down, and the shoulder blades are coming towards each other at the back. And then it's a gentle release, and then pull, gentle release, and then pull. And then we're going to relax the arms down. Turn the head to the right. Back to center. Turn the head to the left. Back to center. Okay, then taking your right hand onto your right hip, we're going to shift back just a little bit for a moment. I want you to take the left arm up. So your right hand is down, left arm up. This time a little bit of a side bend. So just those of you on the floor, just really stretch the intercostals. Those of you on your knee and foot, lengthen, and maybe a little gentle side bend. And then release. And for the last few breaths, we're going to come down a little lower. You might leave the hands on the knee or come to your blocks, or come to the floor inside the leg. And just take a few breaths here. Inhale and exhale. And notice, again, the sense of allowing the chin to relax a little bit. Allow the belly, the abdomen to relax. And just a couple more breaths. And then we have to shift it back. We're going to play on the back side a little bit now. So you might use your blocks, and we're going to shift it back. Those of you in reclining, take that top leg up towards the ceiling. You can use your strap here if you like, or just hold behind the thigh. So those of you in prone, on the knee, hips are now in line with the back knee. Now we're going to just fold over the leg. And I want you to come to a place where you can be pretty relaxed here. So your hands might be resting on the block. Notice if, like me, you tend to shift to the back side. I get kind of lopsided because it's nice and comfy and I can hang out pretty easy there. So for me, it's finding the balance, finding the center. This front leg, the foot could be on the floor, or it could be strongly dorsiflexed, or it could be just relaxed and hanging out. And then just allow the head, the chin to soften a little bit. And again, find your drishti, your gaze point at the third eye. And it might be helpful to again just draw the breath there as you exhale. Awareness rises to third eye, and as you inhale, it releases back down. Sometimes you can feel that in sensation or visualization. Just a few more breaths. And then we're going to shift forward. Take your time, lifting the chest. Good. And then just a gentle release. We'll take that front knee back. Take it way back. Extend the leg. Those on your backs, go ahead and just stretch that leg along the floor now. Get extension through the right thigh and the right knee. then we're going to do the other side. So we're going to take this left leg now to the front. So now we're doing a low lunge with the left leg forward, or your opposite leg. And if you're on the floor, you're going to tuck the knee into your chest, and you might stay there. No worries about trying to get the shin bone parallel. Just keep the knee tucked in. And those of you on knee and foot, just start with hands on knee. Back just a little bit more for you. And then again, perhaps on the floor, you might be taking the right arm up. Those of you on hand and knee could take both hands up and just extend up. Lots of length. Remember, you don't have to be stretched right forward. You could be more back over the back knee if that's more comfortable for your hips and your sacrum. Anjanasana, but in a more longer held version. From here, you can take the hands down by your side. Externally rotate the arm or arms. So externally rotate so the palms will face forward. Or you might reach back and clasp the hands behind you. Again, externally rotating. Back of the neck is long, extension. Perhaps you get a little bit of a gaze upwards, gazing towards the third eye. Just a soft, tender gaze. Good, and then we'll release the arms. Good, and then one more, we'll do cactus arms. So again, if you need to adjust the back knee at any time, go ahead. It's a long time to be on the knee. We'll take the arms up and bend them like cactus arms. And then just on an exhale, just it's like you're grabbing a bar and just like an inch or so, pull them down and to the back. And then release it a bit on the inhale, exhale, pull them down. Just as if you're using a lat bar. Release them up a little and then pull them down. And then release. And we'll take the hands forward now. Just a few breaths with the hands to the floor. Those of you on the floor, if at any time this gets difficult to hold the leg, just release into your pyramid pose, if you like. We're just going to take a few more breaths here. Those of you in prone, those of you facing the floor. Can you find an easeful breath? Lengthening, deepening, but not straining. Always coming back to the sensations of breath. Breath should flow smoothly and evenly, and if it doesn't, sometimes it means we're going too deep or we're struggling mentally. So sometimes easing out of the pose a little bit is helpful. So from there, let's go back into pyramid pose. There's Uttanasana. We'll take the hands possibly onto the block or again a stool. So we're going to shift back so that this hip, now the right hip is in line with the right knee. And the front leg is extended now. So the knee is an extension. And you might use the blocks and hang out here. Or you might fold over. Wherever you're at, allow the back of the neck to be long. You might even prefer to let the head drop a little. And allow the awareness again to rest in the third eye area. And just a few breaths. Feel almost as if you are receiving the inhalation. and you're giving the exhalation. Receiving and giving. We'll take it all the way forward now. Moving back into the sort of a easy lunge now, just so that we can release the front leg. Take it back and stretch the leg back. So now the back, the left leg is in full extension, knee and hip. So just really opening that up a little bit. Okay, good, and relax. So pause for a moment. We're actually going to go into pigeon pose here for a little bit. So if you're on your back, you're in the perfect place. If you want to move to your back, do that. Now just to show you the reclining version in terms of what you can do at home to make this perhaps a little less work for your arms, you could have your blocks, let's do it this way. You could have your blocks stacked. So when I come into the pose, I take my foot onto the blocks and my knee here. So this might be strong enough. I may not need to go any deeper in this. Or if you have a wall or a bed handy, your foot could be against the wall or the bed. Or you might hold the foot and the thigh with the hands and draw them towards your chest. Or reach through and grab the thigh or the knee. So your options for reclining. If you're moving into prone version, we're going to take the right knee forward behind the right wrist. Adjust this shin bone where it feels comfortable. Now, if you want to be in the prone version and it doesn't quite work for you, you can come into this sort of zigzag shape. And you might stay here. This might be your pigeon. Or you might come forward. You might have a little support under your right thigh, your forward thigh, should I say. We're not going to stay up. We're going to come all the way down into more relaxed version. Come to the elbows as is comfortable. If you need to be a little higher, maybe have a stacked blanket or two under the elbows. So take a few breaths, enjoying the breath here. Being relaxed, but not letting go of all control of the breath yet. So we're just using the breath to bring us to stillness, to bring us to inward. And again, you might like to use that sensation or visualization of inhaling awareness down towards the lower chakras and exhaling up towards the third eye area, midbrain area. So I'm up on my hands just so I can see you guys, but you're welcome to be up, but you're welcome to be down on your elbows or with the arms stretched out, wherever it feels good for you. Noticing where your hips are in this. Sometimes gentle, barely rocking back and forth, like maybe a ½ an inch, centimeter back and forth. Sometimes feels kind of interesting, sort of exploratory movement. 2 more full breaths. And then press into the hands if you're prone, facing the floor. Walk the back knee forward a bit and dig the toe in. We're going to release this front leg. So just shift it back, and again, an extension, almost like a 3-legged cat, right? Getting full right leg extension. And then when you're ready, we'll take the left knee forward, behind or thereabouts, behind the left wrist, and then adjust your left shin to where it feels comfortable for you. So there's no strain on the front knee. Again, it's restful sometimes to have that support under the hip. You may find it's not as restful, so find the supports that you need. You could stay up for a little bit if you like, if that feels good, or you can come right down to the elbows, or possibly having elbows on a block. And just take the head into any position that feels comfortable. Maybe turning the head from side to side to get some range of motion in the neck. Maybe allowing the chin to drop. And breathe again. Breathe fully here. I shouldn't say fully. Breathe like 60%. So you're lengthening the breath, but it's not straining. It's not stressful. But you're noticing that gentle, subtle movement, the rise and fall of the torso. Awareness back again into the midbrain. Again, if you like to sort of rock back and forth just a little, if that feels good, then you might try that. You might explore a little bit of movement. And continue over and over again to bring awareness back into breath. How the breath enhances the shape, or how the shape might enhance the breath. So always awareness of breath. Good, and then push yourself up. We'll come into that 3-legged cat again. So walking the back knee forward a little bit and shifting back, release the front leg. 3-legged cat, so just taking that leg into full extension. And then we're going to come on to our back. Those of you that aren't on your back, go ahead and come onto your back. So lying on your back, and we'll just do a little rock and roll each way. Knees into chest, just rolling back and forth. And then go ahead and extend the left leg. Actually, extend both legs along the floor. Both legs extend. A few breaths here. And then from there, slide your right foot up towards the inner left thigh, and then allow the knee to open. So we're doing a reclining tree pose. So the foot is in, it might be by the inner thigh or the shin, wherever it feels comfortable for you. And we'll just pause here. And you might stay here. This might feel great. So you might just stay right here. Or you might take this left knee, the leg that was extended, we're going to take it into the chest and just hold behind the knee. It doesn't have to be really tight, just comfortable here. Just a few more breaths. Good, and then release the foot back to the floor, slide it along the floor so it's extended. You're in tree pose again. Good, and then bring the limb, the branch, the right leg back up, place the foot on the floor, and extend that leg. So now we're in corpse pose. From corpse pose, we'll do tree pose on the other side. So now we'll bend the other leg and open the leg into that half butterfly shape. And then when you're ready, you're going to slide the right leg up into the chest. So now you have one leg in sort of like a half butterfly and the other leg knee to chest. And just notice how this might feel. If it feels at all uncomfortable, go ahead and place support, maybe a block or a blanket under the open butterfly leg. If you're feeling like the chin is reaching up to the ceiling too much, you might take a blanket under your head for a little more support. And then go ahead and release that top leg and slide it along the floor again, moving into your tree pose again. This should feel pretty nice right here, tree pose. And then release that open leg and take it knee back up to ceiling. Extend the leg back to corpse pose again. And then bend both knees, place both feet on the floor. And we'll do just some gentle windshield wipers. So they might be just a little bit side to side, or they might be a lot side to side. Okay. And we'll roll the knees all the way over to the side, and we're going to come all the way up to seated, just for one last bit before we stay on the floor. So I want to give you some options with the legs for this. I would recommend that you sit on a blanket. So maybe a little bit of height under your hips. And I'm going to give you, the first option would be just to take one ankle in front of the, I shouldn't say one ankle over the other. Okay, so it might be like this. You might get sort of shins crossed so that the feet are sort of in line with the knee, if that makes sense. This is kind of like a variation of fire log. Okay. So some of you might come into full fire log. You might have the foot on the knee. And for me, you can see how far away I am from full fire log. I've got quite a bit of space here. I could put a block under there for support. Okay, so I could have a block for support. So that's just an option. Okay. This is just lovely right here. You'll feel this still. We're going to do, you could sit here or you can fold forward. Other option being is cow face. So taking the left heel towards the right thigh and the right heel towards the left. So we're crossing the legs over. Your pose might look more like this, and that's okay. It's okay if it's not one knee over the other, okay? So instead of, it's not like a twist where the foot is solid on the ground, this one is actually allowing the foot sole to come off and to come across. So if you're really open in the hips, your shin bones might be straight across here. Okay, so this is where it helps to have some padding. So any of those versions, pick the one that will work for you, okay? And then we're going to take the arms, instead of cow face arms, we'll take the arms in front, just for a few moments. And I want you to pull the elbows away from you. So you're stretching the shoulder blades away from the spine. One more breath. Good, and then just bring the hands down into Anjali Mudra. So the elbows are sort of coming straight out, and you're getting a little bit of wrist action here, a little bit of flexion in the wrists. Good, and then release. Now we'll just walk ourselves forward. So this might be where you're here. This might feel perfect for you, and from side to side you'll feel quite different. Some of you might be able to fold right over the legs, and you can go ahead and do that if that's comfortable for you. I'll walk up and watch. So the hands might be just planted on the floor, and you might just be resting. Allow the gaze to be soft, as if it's a tender inner gaze at yourself. The wisdom eye. Begin to watch yourself breathing. Inner ear, inner eye. Gently walk yourself back up. We're just going to shift back onto the hands behind us so that we can release the legs. I like this to tip way back. Release the legs and lengthen them out. And then do that on the other side. So this time I'm going to take the underside leg, will be my right leg this time. I'm taking the right heel towards the left hip. Or if you were cross-legged with the right leg in front, now the left leg will be in front. So you're just switching it up, okay? So we're just making sure that we're balancing both sides. Sit up a lot. So if this is hard on your knees or your hips, you're going to make this as accessible as you can for yourself, right? So it can be done. Just going to where your body can do it today. Okay, so again, arms together, just forearms, or you might even have the elbows sort of holding the elbows. Just trying to get the shoulder blades reaching forward, protraction. Good. Good. And then bring the hands down, Anjali Mudra. And then release, hands to floor, or maybe to blocks. And again, just bring the awareness. If you're fighting too much in the body, it'll be harder for you to bring the awareness into the breath and into the third eye. So really, we're just trying not to come to a place where you're fighting yourself. Allow yourself to just sit in the breath, receive the breath, and release and give the breath. And then walk yourself back up. Take your time. Lean back on your hands. Tip the pelvis, releasing the legs. Good. Okay, so we're going to come on to our backs to finish. I'd like to do a bridge pose, a symmetrical pose, to offset a lot of that asymmetrical stuff we did today, so really important. If you have any issues at all when you get home with that asymmetry, doing a snake pose on your belly, lifting the head and chest, is a really great reset for the spine, but we're going to try a reset of bridge today, so we won't do both. So go ahead on your back. Bend your knees and place your feet hip width apart, comfortably close to your bottom. No blanket under the head, please, for this. We'll just take the hands down by our sides, or you might bend the elbows into a 90, pointing the fingertips at the ceiling. Upper, outer arms pressing into the floor. Exhale, navel draws into the spine to support, lower belly stays engaged as you inhale into chest. Lift up, press into the upper, outer arms. Chin is relaxed, gaze is soft, tender, inner gaze. Press up into the hips, pelvis reaching up, inner thighs soft, four corners of the feet pressing. We're going to come down really slow, exhaling, release, slow, slow, slow. Touch down and pause. Notice. You can come into cosmic grounding if you like, keeping the elbows at a 90 degree and just allowing the palms to open towards the sky. So feeling grounded in the back body. But perhaps feeling this sensations in the right palm, awareness in the left palm, maybe awareness in both palms. Release the arms and the hands. And we're going to come into one short restful pose before we move into full corpse. This is close to corpse pose, close to Shavasana, but it's a little bit of supports under the back. So just a little bit to open the upper back. So I'm wanting you to take your blanket If you have a small bolster, that will work as well, but not a really big bolster. So I'd like you to take it and just fold it up. Like I'm going to do mine maybe about like that. So it depends on the comfort of your spine. So that'll be plenty. And I'm going to lay that along my mat. I'm going to take it up a little bit because I want the edge of this blanket to hit around the lower shoulder blade. So sort of that bra strap sort of level. Some people will say the nipple level, man or woman, so that sort of area. So whatever will work for you. You might like to have another towel or a blanket across, so under your head. And then we're going to take a rolled up blanket or a bolster or a pillow for under the knees. So it's a little bit like mountain stream, a little bit. So I'll show you how this looks. If I can get the right setting here. More. Can you see me okay? So I'm wanting that to hit me right about there. And then I'm going to lay over it. Okay. You may choose to have no pillow under the head, like no extra height. Sometimes it feels good to allow the throat to open a little bit more. The arms can be out to the side or perhaps cactus arms, whatever feels good. You might even prefer to have them clasp the elbows above the head. So this is just to give you a little bit more upper back bending. And just take some full deep breaths here. Maybe elongate the inhale for just 2 breaths. Inhale, pause, exhale. Inhale, pause the breath in, exhale. Inhale, exhale, pause the breath out. Inhale, exhale, pause the breath out. Do that a few more times at your rhythm. Just a gentle, short pause at the end of the exhale. Something inside you emerges, an innate, indwelling peace, stillness, aliveness. It is the unconditioned, who you are in your essence. It is what you have been looking for in the love object. It is yourself. Eckhart Tolle. So from here we'll move into Shavasana pose. You may feel perfect right where you are without any need to move, but if you're feeling the need to move that blanket under your back, you might want to just sort of lift up or roll to the side a little bit to release that. So I'll leave that up to you. I'll give you a few breaths to do that. If you're comfortable for the next 5 minutes or so, we'll just move right into Shavasana, 5, 7, 8 minutes. Okay, everybody looks pretty good. Take a moment. Take a few more breaths, just a little bit deeper. Allow yourself to just be very present with the breath. Allow yourself to soften. Begin to notice the whole back body. Whatever is touching the mat, the supports. And allow everything to just surrender to the earth, to the support of the earth. Invite this surrender, invite this release as much as accessible for you today, physically and mentally. If at any time you need to adjust or move to your side, feel free to do so. Begin to allow and invite the top of your body, the front of your body, to release into the back body. Awareness of your feet. Draw the awareness from your feet to your legs and your hips. From your hips into your chest. Into the arms and into the hands. Bringing awareness into the right palm. Notice the sensations in the right palm. Perhaps a warmth or a tingling in the right palm. And then bring the awareness of sensations into the left palm. Perhaps noticing the warmth or tingling in the left palm. And then bring the awareness into both palms. Awareness in both palms. And then draw the awareness from the hands, from the palms, into the throat. And then into the roof of the mouth. You might notice a lift in the roof of the mouth as you breathe. Draw the awareness into the jaw and the mouth. And now draw the awareness into the eyes. Allow yourself some tenderness in the eyes. And finally, awareness in that third eye, the midbrain, soft inner gaze. Be tender and gentle as you gaze. Watch yourself breathe. Perhaps feeling or sensing presence in the midbrain area or around you. Breathe here for a minute while I watch the time. Slowly bring your awareness back into your body, to the skin, sensations in the skin, wriggling toes and fingers, maybe turning your head from side to side. Good. And when you're ready, go ahead and roll to your side and pause. And then bring yourself up to seated. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. May all beings have peace and harmony. May all beings be free of sorrow. May we be kind to each other and be kind to the planet and be kind to yourself. Namaste.